Welcome to the Minimoo story. My name is Mira. Today's episode is about how I discovered that something is wrong with my eyes and what happened afterwards. After giving birth to my beautiful son, I realized that something was odd about my eyes. It took me a while before I found a doctor to examine my eyes. Long story short, I visited different doctors until I finally ended up in Kennedy Institute, that is a department for genetic diseases, which is placed here in Denmark outside of Copenhagen. At Kennedy, they ran different tests at me the first time I was there. I was there for 5 hours, monitoring my eyes' reaction to light impulses, so on, so forth. At one point, the specialist nurse who was there, he told me, "It's quite impressive that you're already here." And I asked him, "Why is that? Is this the right place to be?" And he said, "Unfortunately and luckily, yes. Unfortunately, because you actually belong out here, and luckily you have discovered something was wrong with your eyes earlier than most people they do." When they finally were done with all the tests, they didn't give me a diagnosis right away. They couldn't tell exactly what was wrong with my eyes. However, the doctor I saw, she told me I could expect to be blind within 5 to 30 years. 5 to 30 years. That's a lot of range, but no matter what, that's not nice to hear. I was devastated by that. Normally we take our vision for granted. But if you're told that you might be blind within 5 years and you have finally you have everything in your life going on for you. Beautiful family, nice house, nice job, all those things. What to do next? Of course I was sad, but I tried to carry on as normal. I went to job, did all my things, but at some point I wasn't able to do my job. I was working within finance and sitting 8 hours in front of a computer. And it means if you cannot see, and my vision started to blur, first at the end of the day, then by noon, and suddenly it all was a big blur and I really couldn't see what was going on. Further, there was this awareness, my mental awareness about what actually was going on for my eyes were up here, while my physical, I was probably more like here. So it's quite a gap. And finally, when you start realizing this is serious, there's actually something is wrong here, your mental state have to catch up with the physical state. That's a tough ride, people. It takes a lot. And if you don't have the guts and the courage and the will, it will break you. So in my case, this is my eyes. But I do believe that no matter what we're talking about here, are we talking about cancer or whatever, you have a mental awareness and you have a physical state. And as soon as you realize something is wrong, it takes a lot. And most people, they will hit a depression, severe depression. That was my stage where I realized that this was actually serious, and no glasses could help my situation. So because I'm a privileged person, I was working within finance. I live in Denmark, and we have this social security system, and I was working in the best place ever. I had the best managers. I got a sick leave without getting fired. During my sick leave, I first went to see a psychiatrist, and further I was granted this special program for new blind people at the Danish Institute for Blind and Vision Impaired Persons. It's a kind of a school in which they're teaching you to get on and adjust to your new life, the new normal. So the psychiatrist was actually quite good. I think that we can all benefit from consulting a psychiatrist at 1 or 2 points in our lives. But the program I was granted, it took a lot of me. I felt I was put in this place where society saw me as equal to the other people that I couldn't even identify myself with. So if you think about a blind person, you don't think at daredevil, but you more think of a person with either a stick or a dog helping them, not looking the best, and it took a lot from me. I was the first 3 times I was there, it was really, really, really hard for me, because I thought that, okay, finally I got to a certain level in my life where I'm actually happy, and now society wants to put me here. Shit, I'm already crying. So, if you feel something is wrong with you and you realize it's wrong, and you get the confirmation from society that we're gonna put you out here because you're not normal anymore, this is 6 years ago, and the thought of it, I'm actually crying. So much for being tough, huh? I cried my first episode already. Oh, I feel embarrassed, and I don't even like cameras. So if you have been fighting your entire life to reach a certain level where you are happy and satisfied with what you achieved, and suddenly society point at you and say, oh, you don't belong here anyway, you belong over there. It's another hit in the face from life. It hits you really hard. I went 3 times to the psychiatrist and 3 times in this program, and then I had a holiday, and during my holiday I made tremendous progress working with myself. That's another story I will tell later. When I came back from the holiday, the psychiatrist, she looked at me and she asked me what happened, and I told her I decided maybe society wants to put me in this box with handicapped blind people, but I don't want to be there. I will do what's good for me. And she was quite amazed because she told me, you have made such a progress. I can't remember how many weeks. Maybe it was 3 weeks or 4 weeks time. But I have made so much progress. I kept consulting her. I think I had 8, 9 sessions in total. But she was impressed and quite happy for me. The 4th time I went to the institute, that was after my holiday. I went in there and I decided to be positive and take whatever they could give me of new learning and move on. Once again, break the pattern, because I met other people out there that I could relate a little to, not very much, but a little. And they were still at a whole other mental level. They were still deeply depressed. I had managed to get myself up on my knees, and I didn't want to sink back. So when I was done with the program, I told them, thank you very much for your time. I gave them a feedback on the program, and I decided to do what I wanted to do to make me happy, because if I'm happy, I can be there for the ones I love. The thing I did next was I tried to go back to work, but it didn't work out. I couldn't even work an hour a day. I got too exhausted in my eyes. So I finally, it took a lot of guts from me to actually quit my job because of my eyes. It was a defeat, because obviously I didn't plan it that way. But even the fact that I saw it as a defeat, it is also courage to admit that something is wrong and you're not able to do whatever you're doing. When I was in the situation, I was embarrassed. I felt defeated. However, now when I have done a lot of rethinking, I know it was courage, it was clever, and it was a brave decision I made. So in many ways, I'm a privileged person. I had a really, really good job with the best colleagues ever, best manager. And I got a really generous agreement for my leave. They took good care of me. And it also made it possible for me to actually choose to stay home and not work anymore. Because even though that I live in Denmark, we have this wealth system that will catch you, and you will get on a support from the government, but it's not very much money, and you are not forced to do different jobs, but they will try to find maybe solutions that you are not willing to do. So because I had a nice arrangement and a nice insurance, I was actually able to call my insurance and keep myself out of the public, the government system. I stressed a lot before I decided it was okay to be a stay-at-home mother. I thought, I have to go to uni and study whatever, because normally we identify ourselves with the title from our jobs, and if we don't have a job and a title, then who are you? Yes, but it's okay. I'm Mira. I'm making the Minimoo story by now. I'm giving good karma back to whoever needs it. And I think that's it for now. That was a little bit about how I discovered something was wrong with my eyes and what happened afterwards, which brought me here today. I am through the process where I thought a lot about what should I do next, so on. I wanted to do some charity work, but I didn't find anything that suited me. Further, I wanted to tell my story somehow. First I thought about writing a book, but I mean, who wants to read a book about me? I have no idea. Then a blog, and I tried to write something, but it didn't work. So finally, vlog and giving some good motivation and inspiration back to whoever might need it. So that's it for now. I hope you appreciated my story and you found it motivational, inspirational, and maybe you could relate to some of it, or maybe you know someone who can and actually could benefit from watching this video. If you're watching this, write in a comment down below from where in the world are you watching, because it will make my day. This is the purpose. I want to reach out to whoever need it, and I don't care where you are in the world, as long as I can give you some good karma with the Minimoo story.